Hello, from the Point Park University Center for Media Innovation, I'm Josh Krupp. Tonight here on the CMI, we're going to welcome an Italian journalist who's been here for the last 6 months or so, and her time's almost up, but before she leaves the States, we wanted to chat with her and talk about the experiences that she's had in the American media and visiting different television stations here in Pittsburgh, opposed to Italy. Her name is Anna Vitaliani, and she joins us now. Anna, thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you for having me here.
You're here presenting an event tonight for the Women's Press Club of Pittsburgh.
Yes.
First of all, talk about what you're going to say at this presentation for those who maybe won't be able to make it here tonight.
Yes. I spoke with students 2 weeks ago here in Point Park University. I had this experience, and then I wanted to speak about my path in that case. Tonight I'd like to speak about the news in Italy right now, because the title of the event is News, Notizia in Italian, so news. And what is news now in Italy and all over Europe? The news is the immigration is our most topic in all our newscasters and newspapers. So we will speak about immigration in Italy and all over the Europe and this phenomenon. And of course, I will speak about my company. I am an Italian journalist and I work since 2008, so 10 years. I have worked in RAI, our public television. So what means public television in Italy and the history behind public television, I mean. So that's the topic for this night.
Now, what brings you to the United States? Why are you here? Tell us why you've been here since August.
So my husband, he is a researcher and he's a physician, and he had this opportunity to come here at UPMC hospital, and it was a great opportunity for all the family, I think, because it's an opportunity to improve our English, and United States like a dream for Italian people in general, and for my generation, first of all, because we grew up watching American movies, of course. And then we have 2 daughters, and that's an opportunity for them too. They are very young, but they are studying English them too. So I'm here, and I took advantage to being here, improving my English, and also visiting some newsrooms and televisions here. So I had a well-rounded experience because I visited the WPXI, so public television, and WQED, sorry, and WPXI, so profit and no profit, television, so private and public. So it was interesting for me.
You've got to see the best of both worlds there, WQED and being public television and WPXI private. In Italy, it's the opposite of what it is in the United States.
Right.
RAI, a publicly state-owned television. Could you talk about how that is funded and what the biggest difference is between public and private TV are in these two countries?
Yes, of course. RAI is the biggest television we have, and it's a broadcaster company. We have radio and television, also movie. So it's a really important media company, and I think it's the most popular television for people, and it's owned by Minister of Economy, so by the state, and we used to support RAI paying an annual tax, television tax, and that's cost 90 euros a year. And for a lot of people, it's a lot. And in the past, people found way to of evading it. But now, government decided to put this annual TV tax in the electricity bill, and that's why now everybody pay. But it's important to pay this amount because it's a way how our government support democratic information, because this amount is used to support public television, but also all kinds of information. Private television, private radio station, newspapers too. So it's a way to support democratic information, and that's important, I think.
How have you seen journalism portrayed in this country compared to Italy? You could call it a hostile environment right now in the United States, and with the attacks on the press. Does that exist in Italy? What kind of freedoms or lack thereof are there in Italy, if any at all?
I think it's very similar all over the world, and fake news are everywhere, and that's one of the most important problem issue for journalism in the world, I think. And now for us it's very important because we have our political elections right now. So in March we will vote. You can imagine that Facebook is trying to find a way to control bad news or not,
right.
And they are doing that for the first time in a country during political campaign. And I'm proud that something is happening in my country, in Italy. That's an experiment maybe Facebook is doing, and I hope that's help, because I think it's the credibility of journalism is in the field now, and we have to protect it.
What kind of stories do you typically cover on a day-to-day basis over at RAI, and what kind of stories have you put together while you've been in Pittsburgh?
So in Italy, I like to tell story about people in general. So I cover story about people from my area where I live. I'm a local journalist, so I work in a local station, TV station, for RAI public TV station, and I used to speak about everything, because when you work in a local TV station, you have to do everything. So it's difficult to specialize in something, and so I speak about politics, about economy, about everything, and I tell story about people. And for that reason, I like to tell story about people, and so that's why here I found some interesting story. I did a piece about how Pittsburgh is welcoming people with the billboard outside of the house. I saw when I arrived that in the yard of the houses, and this sign, welcome your neighborhoods, your neighbors, and it was very interesting for me to understand why people need to do that. So I checked online and I read the story behind this sign, and I read this a Mennonite church who invented that 2 years ago during a Trump campaign, and now it's something that's spread all over United States, and that's why I said it's interesting to understand that and to tell about that. And I did this story by myself with my iPhone and iPad, and I will use this story in my Italian channel when I come back, because it's a way to show how United States want to welcome foreign people, and that's the most important topic in this moment in Italy and in Europe, with so huge mass of people who are escaping war, poverty, hunger from Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan. That's our problem in Italy, and that's why I think everything is about how you can welcome people is something interesting to me.
Well, you're always welcome to come here to Point Park University and to Pittsburgh. We'll wrap with this. What has been your number one favorite part about the city, about this university that you've visited a couple times, your number one takeaway that you'll tell your friends back in Italy from Pittsburgh?
You know what? I love your libraries. I think it's something amazing, so modern, so with a lot of activities. I have 2 kids, Emma and Anita. They are 17 months and the other one almost 5. So I go for them and for story time and all the stuff about kids. But I was so surprised what they do, for example, for teenagers. So for that strange period of life, they do amazing things. It's a cool place where I go. I don't think in Italy we have so amazing libraries. So that's something impressed me at the beginning. And then I think Pittsburgh, I'm sad because our period is starting to finish. I mean, in next month we are leaving. But I had an amazing, I have a very wonderful time here. And, when I was in Italy, I didn't know Pittsburgh, honestly. When my husband said Pittsburgh, I checked online and I saw where it was on Google Map. And honestly, it's an amazing place. I'm very well here. People welcomed me everywhere, here in Point Park University too, but everywhere, honestly. On the television stations too, they said, yes, of course you can come to visit us. So libraries in particular, because I met a lot of friends there, a lot of moms like me. So.
Well, Anna Vitaliani, thank you so much for coming
Thank
to
you.
Point Park and to Pittsburgh and to speaking here tonight with the Women's Press Club of Pittsburgh. You're always welcome back if you ever decide to come back to Pittsburgh after March is over. So
Thank
we look
you.
forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.